Hello folks, this is Sula speaking. You're listening to another video for Teamfight Tactics. This is some footage taken from a double-up game with JDPL Grillo. In this game, we're going to be looking at a 6 Sentinel team composition that plays through Heimerdinger and Corki. So it is a rocket spam team composition, or a rocket barrage composition. You might also notice our initial encounter here is with Warwick, and if you haven't seen this before, that's because this is a new encounter. It was added in the first full patch for set 13. Initial release version was out for 3 weeks. The initial release version went through a B, C, and D patch, so we were going through several different patches, but this is the first full patch, and this one has added quite a bit to the game. Added a number of new encounters. It has also added 6 cost champions. Were the 6 cost champions well designed? No, they were not. They are a terrible addition to the gameplay, but at least in this game, we're not going to be seeing too much of their effects, and they're not really going to be the focus of this particular video, but they are out there and they are in position to start ruining games with their ridiculous luck nonsense. But in any case, this is a team composition that we're going to see that's pretty straightforward to pilot. It's something that's worth playing if you get a lot of Sentinel units in particular in the early game. The basic idea is you play a very heavy front line with Sentinels, 6 Sentinels, and then you have kind of Corki and Heimerdinger back there behind them, just kind of like spamming out additional, like spamming out lots and lots of rockets, while the front line is just up there and is very tanky. This is a very solid board. In particular, it's often helpful because at least when I was playing this game with Grillo, it was not played particularly, like it wasn't being contested particularly hard. Heimerdinger was the top unit in the initial patch that came out, but then got nerfed pretty hard in the patch version that we're on right here, because hey, if he was the top 4 cost in the previous patch, that means he's going to be one of the worst 4 costs in this patch. That's just how the buff nerf cycle works in TFT. So a lot of people not necessarily playing this, but it's really not that bad of a setup. It's pretty viable, particularly if it's uncontested. Anyway, we're looking at the different options here. I did consider taking Worth the Wait, but ultimately I do not end up going that way in this particular game. I'm looking at the different options. I didn't really care for a lot of them, but I think that I end up taking the needlessly large rod here is what I remember correctly. It's been a little bit since I played this game, and yes, okay. I didn't really love this particular option, but I thought it was probably the best out of those options. It was either that or just gamble on getting something from the get a 1-cost unit every single round for the rest of the game. But I really did want to try out this build, and so that's kind of what I ended up doing here. Anyway, I was able to get a 2-star Aurelia coming over from Grillo's setup here in double up, and then I naturaled a 2-star Lux and a 2-star Zyra, and I was like, okay, well, you know, I've got AP items here. I can go ahead and try to make like Heimerdinger items back here, because I might as well, and I can use one of these units as an item holder. I don't plan on playing Sorks long term. It's also pretty important that we be strong here in the early game, and that's because we're playing that Warwick encounter. So the Warwick encounter basically means that the whole lobby is playing with Spoils of War augment. And what I mean by that is this has been an augment that's been around for a couple of different sets. It means that when enemy units die, they have a chance to drop loot. And I don't know what the exact stats are here for the encounter lobby, but I think that I think it's just pretty much everyone is playing with Spoils of War. I don't know if it's the silver or the gold version or whatnot, but the mechanic seems to work literally the same as Spoils of War. Spoils of War, the gold version, which is the most common version that you see, I believe it's every time an enemy unit dies, it's 30% odds they drop something, and then it's like 90% odds they drop a coin, and then it's like 10% odds they drop a chest that has something better. So it's like every time you kill an enemy unit, it's something like 25 to 30% odds that you're going to get a coin, and like 3% odds you're going to get a chest out of it. And that's applying to everyone in the lobby. So this actually does kind of change up how the game is played, which is that loss streaking is very bad with this setup. You want to build a strong early game board, because if you're not killing units, you're not dropping coins. Like, look, I think I got like another 2 coins in that particular round. So anyway, you don't want to loss streak with this. You want to have a strong board early out of the gate. And it's important sometimes to sacrifice econ to play a stronger board, because if you're playing a stronger board, you're going to kill enemy units and you're going to get more drops. And I don't know if everyone in the lobby had like fully internalized that just yet. So anyway, that's the direction kind of that we're going to be going in this game. I'm going to be playing towards Heimerdinger and towards Corki with my Sentinel setup. Now, I have not actually gotten that many Sentinels yet. I actually kind of wish that Sorcerers were stronger, because this would be a really nice setup to play into a Sorcerers game, but Sork's just not that good. They really have not been good the entirety of the set thus far. I'm sure that we'll eventually get a patch where they're strong, but they've been weak for the entirety of the set. But anyway, yeah, I really have not seen that many Sentinels thus far, so I was forcing this to some extent, but I had looked around the lobby and I thought it would be uncontested, and I thought that it was a decent fit for the setup. I want to play some kind of a comp that has some kind of an AP component, some kind of magic damage component here, just because I've already made the Jeweled Gauntlet and another rod there, so I need to do something that's magic damage based. But that could go, of course, in a number of different directions. This person's trying to play Nocturne Reroll, but it looks like they don't really have the pieces for it just yet. And anyway, I'm going to go ahead and clear my bench, and I actually get to 20 gold here on 2-3, which is really nice if you've already leveled. If you leveled to 4 early, to get to 20 gold here is super duper nice. So quite happy with that. And if you're wondering why I'm picking up family units, it's because Grillo is going to play the family Pit Fighter reroll. So that means he needs like Draven and Violet and Vander, all those kind of units. I also don't necessarily have to try to get as much mana generation here, because I've looked at the Academy list, and the Academy item that gets delivered for Academy 3 is actually a Spear of Shojin, and I figured I could probably put that on Heimerdinger. He does prefer to get blue buff because it's better on him than the Spear of Shojin would be, but if I'm going to get a Spear of Shojin for free, I don't mind getting that. So I will pick up this tier here. But I am planning on playing towards potentially getting that. I am planning on playing towards getting a Spear of Shojin for free. Okay, now here I'm going to find another Sentinel. I do find a Loris here, so I'll hold on to that, and then I might as well pick up the Vander, because Grillo will probably want that on his board. Now the question is, do I want to look to try to make an Archangel Staff, which is a pretty good item on Heimerdinger? And I think, I can't remember if I make this or not. I went ahead and made this. And again, this is me. If I were not planning on playing into Academy trait later on, I would have held this to try to make like a blue buff on Corki later on. But I know that I'm going to get a free Spear of Shojin later on, because I'm going to play into Academy trait. And so this will allow me to rely on that Shojin for mana generation. And I can do Shojin plus Archangels plus the Jeweled Gauntlet, and that should be a pretty good setup. These items not quite as good on Zyra, but they're not bad. They're very playable. These are just like standard AP items. This round looks like I'm finally going to come up a little bit short. I got reinforced on very early, and Grillo also got reinforced on by another board. So there's only so much you can do in that situation. I mean, Zyra killed, I don't know how many units on that round. I think I had 8 units jumping on me, and I think she killed 5 of them. So that, that's pretty good. I think I'll end up taking that. And here I'm going to get another, I get another Sentinel unit, but I can't really put that on my board yet. I'd have to take like Lux off the board to do that. That does not seem worthwhile. Rel is very nice because she has Visionary trait. She's both Sentinel and Visionary, and also Conqueror. And so just by playing Rel with a whole bunch of, like if I can play Rel as one of the 6 Sentinels on my board, she'll give Visionary trait to Heimerdinger later on. I should probably play Rel over Singed. She's a little bit better because she's a 2-cost and Singed is a 1-cost. This is a board that's definitely stronger to play if you can get +1 Sentinel, because it makes it much easier to hit the 6 Sentinels, which is a big spike in terms of how much they tank for. It's also a board where +1 Academy is pretty nice, because this board will activate Academy eventually. Like you can get into it's the standard version of this board plays up to 3 Academy. But you can always get +1 Academy, and then, you just get like another item for free. By the way, this round's also pretty close. Can Zyra get the kill? If she gets her cast off, she does kill Maddie. Okay. All right. But unfortunately, I do come up short there. Again, I think I win that round if I don't get reinforced on. So that's a little bit unfortunate, but still not that bad overall. Now, we haven't really seen that many Sentinels yet, but let me go ahead and cover what this trait does, since we are kind of playing through the Sentinel trait here. This is a very straightforward tank trait. As I get another unit coming over here from Grillo, I get another Loris. If I can get one more for Loris 2-star, that would be nice. Here's the description. Your team gains armor and magic resistance. Sentinels gain triple. So it's team-wide armor and magic resistance, and then Sentinels gain triple whatever the value is. Right now I have Sentinel 2 in. That's 12 armor and MR. And then again, Sentinels get triple that, so they would go up to 36. And then if I can get Sentinel 4, it goes up to 25. Again, these numbers subject to change in every patch version. But that would go up to 25, and then that would get tripled to 75 for Sentinels. If you can get Sentinel 6, which is the highest right now, it's 42. That gets tripled to 126. So Sentinel 6 provides a lot of armor and MR. Unfortunately, this wasn't quite what I was looking for in terms of what I was going to get here on this round. I was really hoping to get some more frontline items, and in particular, I want to get health. Because, I mean, what do Sentinels get? Remember, they get armor and magic resistance. So in order to make the armor and magic resistance more effective, what you really want is stuff that builds out of health. Like, I'd really like another belt to make Warmogs, but like, if I could have gotten a belt I would have made Warmogs, a vest I would have looked to make, a Sunfire cape I would have been fine with that because I don't have a heal cut on my board right now. But like the only thing I can do with the cloak up there is I can make Evan Shroud, and this is going to be mostly a spellcasting board, so I don't think Evan Shroud's going to be very useful. I also went ahead and sold the 2-star, what's her name? The 2-star, wow, her name's escaping me. Zyra. I don't know why it took me so long to come up with that. I tried to get this. I ended up selling the Zyra, and I moved over to a Nami instead because Nami's a 3-cost. Nami also put the emissary trait in for extra mana generation. Now, looking at these items, I kind of wish in retrospect that I'd gone ahead and taken the Pandora's Bench, because I just don't like my items here. And normally I don't like Pandora's items, but I really didn't think that the items I had were good fits here. So anyway, I go ahead and I end up taking the Radiant item. I was actually hoping to make a frontline item here. So I was like, this is the Masterwork upgrade. Again, I was kind of hoping to get a belt so I could do Warmogs, but that ends up not being an option. And I was like, this really isn't what I wanted, but I'm going to go ahead and make Dragon's Claw, and then I'll Masterwork upgrade that. And I mean, I've got the Radiant Dragon's Claw, which is going to be super good against any comp that deals magic damage, but like this just isn't what I wanted here. And I just didn't really like most of my options that I had on that particular one. I didn't want to do the the one that's that lets you reroll your shop, and you just at 45% odds to get a reroll every single time you refresh the shop. I just didn't really want that, and I didn't really feel like I hit that prismatic augment at all, which is always a really bad feeling when you get a prismatic augment and like none of the 6 choices are ones you particularly want. Again, I was hoping to make a Warmogs because Warmogs would be just super nice with heavy Sentinels. Because remember, Sentinel trait gives me armor and magic resistance. What do I want? A boat ton of health, but that was not an option there. So just not really what I wanted there. And I mean, I guess maybe I could have done like the Radiant Archangels would have been nice for like a Corki later on, but I'm trying to play through my front line here, and I'm not quite getting the items I want. These 2 swords and a rod here are really not helpful. I can put AP items on Corki later, or AD items on Corki later on, so that's not going to be bad. But I don't have anyone who deals physical damage on my board right now, and I don't really have anyone that would fit the board. I guess maybe I could like stuff Draven on the board and get like maybe 1 Conqueror cash out, get the 2 gold. That's about all I can really think of though. Like maybe, or you could also say maybe like find a Tristana, but then Trist would conflict with the Emissary. Like I don't want to just stuff Zeri on my board with none of her traits in. That's not going to be very good. The unit, of course, I really want to find right now is Ezreal. Ezreal would give me Academy trait. I also want Ezreal because I'm going to need to play him with Corki anyway. So he'd give me Academy, he'd give me a Spear of Shojin for the Nami. And then he'd also have Artillerist trait ready to go when I find Corki later on. So if I could find an Ezreal, that would make this board a lot stronger here in the mid game, because I'd actually have someone to put my physical damage items on. But I don't have that yet, so I'm a little hesitant. I don't really want to like slam Deathblade that badly. I am first pick here, so I could potentially try to get this Spatula. I actually thought about it, but then boom, Spatula gets snapped up instantly. So I was like, okay, well, you know what? I really do want a Warmogs, so I'm going to go ahead and make that. You know what I could have done is I could have just held off on doing the Masterwork upgrade. That thing does not have to be used the first round that you get it. So I could have maybe held off on that and tried to do the Warmogs later. But at least I'll get the Warmogs now. Again, when you're getting Sentinel trait, because you get all the armor and MR from your trait, you really want to build additional health. But I will have Warmogs plus the Radiant, or what is it? The Radiant Dragon's Claw. And like, that's not going to be bad. I also was able to take that item off an Echo, who's going to sell for 4 gold. That's going to help my economy too, which is sagging a bit. I also have a whole bunch of pairs here. Again, I'm on, look at my board right now. I've got a Singed pair on the bench. Then I've got a Loris pair. a Leona pair, and a Rel pair. So I have 4 pairs, 4 Sentinel pairs sitting there on my bench. I'm like, what the heck is going on here? And then I also do have the champion send back, so I'll pass that over to Grillo's board. So right now, my board is not very strong. I've got all these 1-stars. Like Aurelia 2-star is not a great tank in the first place. And she's becoming less and less of a good tank with each round that goes by. And then what do I have? I have a Nami 1-star with Sork 2. Like, ugh. And she doesn't even have like a Shojin or a blue buff for mana generation. So this is really not it. I do think I'm not that far away. If I could find like 1 more of all these pairs that I have, I do think that that would work. And I mean, my front line is quite tanky. I do have Sentinel 4 in with the Wormogs. And the Radiant version of the Dragon's Claw does, in fact, provide health regen as well. So, like, you can see the enemy team is taking forever to kill my front line. I just don't have any damage right now. So you can see the synergy here. I've got an Archangel Staff, so my Spellcaster will scale over the course of the fight, plus the Jeweled Gauntlet's a crit. And then Heimerdinger is a unit that innately scales over the course of the fight anyway, because every time Heimer casts, he shoots out more missiles afterwards. But it's just taken a while. This is kind of a slow start from me. And I do think that the biggest problem was the fact that I was missing the Ezreal, who's like the other big piece of this. Not having him has definitely slowed my board down a lot. That, and then just having a lot of pairs. You can make a strong case that I probably should have rolled 10 to 20 gold just to hit some of these pairs, because I have so many of them sitting on my bench right now. But it's a double-up game, and Grillo was in a pretty strong position. So because he was pretty strong, I felt I did not need to roll, and I just greeted out these rounds here in the mid game. Whereas if I was playing solo, if this was a 1-player game, I probably would have rolled some gold here to stabilize. In particular, I really could use a better damage dealer. The Nami 1-star with no spear. I wasn't trying to build like a Spear of Shojin because I'm going to get one from Academy trait. So I was like, oh, cool. As soon as I find Ezreal, I'll have that Spear of Shojin. And then it's like 7 rounds later and Ezreal still hasn't shown up yet. And I was like, okay, this looked like a better plan back on stage 2 than it does now. Anyway, remember, we still do have Spoils of War. We still don't have like the Spoils of War encounter as a result of the War Wreck. And by the way, look how long. That's still an Aurelia. She's a one cost 2-star, but she tanked forever. Fortunately, Grillo has Violet 3-star who comes in and saves the day. So I'm just stalling right now. I'm just playing greedy economically, just stalling. There's another Nami, by the way. So now I have yet another pair. Singed pair, Leona pair, Loris pair, Rel pair, Nami pair. And a Vander pair that I'm holding for Grillo. It's like, are you kidding me? Can we hit a unit here or something? So I'm just going to stuff the Singed on the board for right now. If I could actually find, now I need to find an Alawi or a Rumble, and that would allow me to play 6 Sentinel, which, again, as mentioned, is a big spike. It jumps up from the Sentinels having 75% armor and MR. Oh, by the way, there's Vander 2-star, so I can send that over to Grillo. They go from having 75 armor and MR up to 125 armor and MR. All right, there we go. There's 2-star Loris. That's a big hit. Loris is a much better tank than the Aurelia is. So we'll go ahead and move these tank items over there. And then we've got more stuff. Oh, let's see. So, oh, by the way, I was trying to put this Wormogs on him, and like the game would not put it on him. There we go, finally. And then out of these other items, let's see, I wanted to roll. There's finally Ezreal, so let's get him on the board. We can take the Singed off the board, and boom, now we get the free Spear of Shojin. Now I can put my Corki items on him. And then I've got some leftover tank items as well, so I can go ahead and start to make use of them. Gargoyle Stoneplate is not as good on a Sentinel board because, remember, Sentinels already get all that armor and MR, but I still think it's probably the best thing I can do here. So I'll go ahead and make that. It's just a good tank item in this current version of the game. And look at this, like the game will just not let me put these items on. I cannot figure out why it won't let me put this on. I must be clicking in the wrong spot on his character model or something. I swear I'm clicking on this guy and it finally goes through. But, I mean, I think I would have lost this round anyway. So, and then I also was able to get that Academy Spear of Shojin item onto Nami, so that's nice as well. But it does look like I would lose this round regardless. Unless Violet can kill everything. Violet, you got everything? 3-star Violet, you got everything? Yep, okay. Did I deserve to win that round? No, I did not. But it is the 2-player mode. Again, I'm greeting out the mid-game right now. I'm going to get to level 8 and try to roll there. All right, so looking at the different options here, it's not Trifecta. I don't think it's Cloning Facility. It's definitely not Sorcerer's Crest. So I was like, all right, I guess Reinforcement. I don't love that, but I am going to play a bunch of 4-cost units. So now this will help. This will definitely help in that regard. So this is a board that plays 3 4-cost units, Alawi for the 4-cost Sentinel. In addition to that, it plays Corki, and in addition to that, it also plays Heimerdinger. So I have 3 different 4-cost units I want to see. And this will make it easier to hit one of them. It means I'll instantly be able to 2-star one of them. Then, of course, the entire value of the augment is gone after that. So I don't love this. This would not have been my pick in like the abstract. I would have loved to have gotten something that makes Sentinel units stronger, or like a +1 to some other trait that I'm playing. But I tried to do the best I had with what I had here. And as I said, now I'm finally about to be able to hit level 8, and then I can roll it on level 8, and we'll see how greedy I want to be after that. This is a board that, as I said, because it plays 3 4-costs and then ultimately plays into a 5-cost, because you really want to find Rumble on this board too. It is pretty strong if you can hit everything, but as I said, it's kind of an expensive board, so it can be tough to get to the point where you're playing all of those units. It's definitely easier to play this if you can get like as I said, +1 Sentinel or +1 Academy or something like that. But at least I do have the Nami 2-star to help hold down the fort. Again, you've noticed that in almost all these rounds, my front line is really tanky. It takes a long, and I mean a long time for my board to actually, for my front line to die as I send the 2-star Vander over to Grillo. So like my board tanks for a very, very long time, but it's not the fastest board, and it's kind of, we're pretty low on damage right now, but that Loris with 4 Sentinel and those tank items lasts up there for a very long time. And then I might be able to find a better user for the Thieves Club that's currently on Leona right now. But I am getting Academy trait from Leona and Ezreal, and then the Lux. They all have Academy. And then when I get Heimerdinger, I can replace the Lux, who I want to get Lux off this board, and then I want to look to get up to the 6 Sentinels. I already have the 5th Sentinel, Sin. She's just sitting on my bench. But I'm going to need to find the Alawi or the Rumble if I'm going to get up to the 6 Sentinels, which is kind of core to this board. All right, so we're up against a Cog player. Fortunately, this Cog has not hit 3-star Cog Maul yet. It does look like Cog's going to beat me, but here comes Grillo once again, jumping in to save the day. And that's going to make the difference there for him. And that team is almost dead. I'm not surprised that they're hanging in. I'm a little surprised that they're rolling for Cog on level 6 instead of level 7. But I guess if they'd gone to level 7, they'd just already be dead. Still, they don't even seem to be close to Cog. They only have 5 over there. So unless their partner's about to send a 2-star Cog, they're in a lot of trouble. All right, well, we have won enough rounds that we are last pick. Again, Grillo, it's not really me winning these rounds. It's pretty much Grillo. As I said, my board is not really there yet, but we'll see what happens. And out of these various items, I actually do want the glove here, because the glove lets me make a Last Whisper, and I don't have any armor shred on my board right now, so I would very much like to get that for future Corki. I already made the Giant Slayer because I kind of just had the items for it. I don't love making Giant Slayer early game, but I didn't have a better way. I didn't really have anything else to do. I had like too many swords and bows, so I went ahead and made that. Oh, and here we go. So now, remember, I instantly get a 2-star 4-cost. It's a good thing I didn't accidentally click on the other unit. Who is that other unit that I had over there? I can't remember. Oh, it was an Ambessa. That's right. I could have accidentally clicked on Ambessa, but I didn't want that. So anyway, so here's Corki as well. So let's get Corki on the board. And I might as well pick up extra Heimers because you never know. We finally hit Rel 2-star, and I did want to go ahead and move these items over to Corki. We actually have 4 Academy right now, so I get a bonus Gargoyle Stone Plate, but I don't plan on running that long term. So let's go ahead and move the Last Whisper and the Giant Slayer over to Corki. There we go. Or make the Last Whisper, and then I can put the sword on him. I actually, by the way, I actually don't have to make a final Corki item, because if I can get Rumble, then I'll actually have Scrap Trait in. But I think I just end up making an extra item anyway, because the only thing this board would play into is Scrap 2, which is not very good. By the way, look at Loris, is still up there at like almost full HP. Yeah, Loris is pretty tanky right now. But now I can take out the Lux. I do not need Lux on this board, and I can play another unit. And since I have 2-star Heimer, I think I'm pretty content just to go up to level 9 right now. All right, now it's time to do a champion to evolve. I'm looking at these. I don't think it's Fireball. That doesn't seem like a good choice here. Let's see, Hyper Velocity. No, I don't need to stack attack speed. Center of the Universe, no. Mini-Me's, no. Finisher, maybe. All right. I end up taking the Finisher, execute units. Heimer tosses out a lot of missiles. I don't know if that was the best choice, but I end up taking it here. Probably could have gotten something better, but I didn't want to roll too much gold here. And Heimer is my first 2-star 4-cost. Corki would not be the right unit to evolve. Loris would not be the right unit to evolve. Definitely wanted to take something for Heimer. This gives him an execute, and as I said, his missiles do... So this is better on someone who has like a flurry of small attacks as opposed to someone who's like one big attack, because that way it's not going to waste... It's not going to waste the damage in that regard. The first missile that hits someone at under 50% health will get the execute, and then the other missiles will like fly off to another target. So the damage will not get wasted over killing the target. Anyway, because I have the reinforcements and I had instant Heimer 2-star, I'm just going to go ahead and go straight to level 9 now. Again, I've been playing very greedy throughout this game, but Grillo covered me for the whole mid game. And given that we have the most health in the lobby and my board plays, like I said, 3 4 costs and a 5 cost, I want to get to level 9 so I can start to hit those units and go from there. Now that we've had the anomaly round, we also have a very, very small chance to find the 6 cost units. So this is the new mechanic in this patch. Once the anomaly takes place, you have a chance to find 6 cost units. This is about the worst designed mechanic I can think of in a long time for TFT. It's everybody has equal odds, and the odds are very low. You can see the 0.2%, and then it goes up every round. It goes up very slightly. So at that's per slot on the screen, by the way. So since you have 5 slots on the screen, it's really 1% odds. So right now, every single time every person refreshes the shop, they have 1% odds to see Warwick or Mel or Victor. Pretty dumb mechanic, pretty stupid, because Victor is extremely overtuned right now. So it's just like, hey, everybody has like 1% odds each round to see Victor pop up, who is absurdly overtuned. Does that sound like a good mechanic to you? Completely independent of level. You got the same odds if you're level 6 as if you're level 9. Doesn't seem like a very good thing to me, but what do I know? Definitely feels like this was just put in for Mario Party reasons, not for any kind of competitive endeavor. But anyway, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of this. It seems pretty stupid. But anyway, I had enough gold to go level 9, so now I'm just trying to find Alawi and or Rumble. I really need one of these units to put on the board because I got to get up to the 6 Sentinel. So can I find one of these? All right, I find Rumble. I find Rumble before Alawi, which is kind of the wrong way that's supposed to happen. But there's Alawi, so we can take out one of these units. We'll take out Singed, and then we'll play the Alawi. And any leftover tank items we can now look to put on these units. There is no 8 Sentinel, so there's no reason to hold Singed once I have the 6 Sentinels. We'll go ahead and do Redemption. I'm pretty content with that. Oh, I think I end up pulling the Anvil first. I don't see anything I want there, so we can do this. And we can actually put like a rod on Rumble, and I'll actually roll a scrap item if I do that. I don't know if I remembered to do that or not, but I really should have just grabbed the rod and put it on Rumble because he'd roll a scrap item each round. I could also, okay, never mind. I ended up grabbing a bow and putting on Ezreal. That's definitely the wrong choice. I should have been getting an item on Rumble so he'd roll a scrap item. Yes, that definitely could have been done better. By the way, this round's really close again, but Jinx killed my backline. But Grillo was able to come over and reinforce. I still had the Loris alive. Loris is still tanking up there with all this stuff. So yeah, now I kind of have the core of the board. So if you look at the board here, we've got the 6 Sentinels, 3 Academy. The 3 Academy units being the Heimerdinger, the Ezreal, and the Leona. So they're all providing 1 free item, which is the Spear of Shojin that's on Corki. Also, any items that they're holding make them tankier. So the Spear of Shojin on the Heimer gives him a little bit of a, gives him a little damage amplification. What does Academy traits specifically do when they're holding these items again? Hold on. It's been a while since I haven't really done a lot with Academy. Academy sponsors 3 items each game. This is the official description. Copies of sponsored items grant champions max health and damage amp. Academy units holding sponsoring items gain double the amount, plus an additional 5% health and damage amp. Okay, well, Gargoyle's Stoneplate was one of the sponsored items this game, so I guess I was getting a small benefit from running Academy trait with the Gargoyle's Stoneplate. And Academy units gain double the benefit. So let's see, Corki, additional 5% health and damage amp. So Corki's got the sponsored item, and he's Academy, or not Corki, Heimerdinger's Academy, and he has a sponsored item. So he's getting extra health and extra damage amp. So yeah, that seems like it's working reasonably well. All right. And so anyway, we have 6 Sentinel, 3 Academy, we have 3 Rebel. We actually activate Rebel with, oh, there we go. There's Corki 2-star. That's nice. So we active, and I figured I'd just use this champion duplicator that came out of the Spoils of Loot round, and I'd duplicate the Ezreal because why not? Anyway, so we also activate Rebel trait with Ezreal plus the Alawi and then plus the Aurelia. So Sentinel does have an internal Rebel synergy. Both Alawi and Aurelia are both a Rebel plus Sentinel, so you're pretty much always going to play at least to some degree into that. By the way, here I end up getting an item Anvil that I took from the gift round, and I really didn't like any of the options very much, so I just take the Evan Shroud. Even though I already have a Last Whisper, I just didn't like any of the items that much. One good thing about getting a fairly early Rumble, we had Rumble on stage 5-1 here, is I will start getting the Rumble upgrades relatively quickly. You get a Rumble upgrade after every third player versus player combat round. There's no way to speed them up. They just, after 3 rounds, you get the option to buy another one. But this means I'll be able to start upgrading Rumble, who's a really key unit on this board because of the way he activates, the way he lets me play 6 Sentinel. And he's just a very good unit overall. So anyway, this board's pretty tanky with the Swain 3-star. We're trying to do our best to cut through the Swain. Unfortunately, the other team's going to reinforce on me, so I don't think I have enough to beat both of these boards. Seems unlikely. By the way, Loris is still up there. He finally fell. I was like, all right, Grillo, well, I can't beat both of their boards. But then I did, and I was like, wait, what? I beat both of their boards simultaneously? Okay, let's go. So I guess I could just beat their board anyway. Now it's time to get another item. Again, I kind of have my carries fully itemized, so I wouldn't mind taking another frontline item here. I don't think that would be that bad. But I was like, all right, well, you know what? I can't get another Gargoyle Stoneplate. Another Stoneplate would have been great because it's one of the Academy-sponsored items this game. But that's already gets snapped up. I could do Redemption, but I already have a Redemption. So I was like, all right, let's take the Self-Destruct button. And by the way, there is a Warwick on my board. I can't really play Warwick here, though. I have no free slots. As you see me send this Civica over to JDPL Grillo. I probably should have just bought this unit, and then I could always go to level 10 and try to play it at level 10, but that didn't seem worthwhile to do. Victor is the one that's like super overpowered. The other two, Mel and Warwick, are not nearly as bad, at least in this patch version. But I just don't have a slot. Like, if you look at my board, I kind of need every single one of these units to hit these synergies, to hit the 6 Sentinel, 3 Academy, 3 Rebel, 2 Artillerist, 2 Scrap, 2 Visionary. Like, I kind of need these exact 9 units in there, and I can't really take any of them out. So I would probably need to get either an Emblem or like +1 or a Tactician's Crown or something if I was going to play another unit. And frankly, I would probably only do it for Victor because Warwick doesn't fit this board at all. All right, well, anyway, this fight's pretty close, but I still got my carries alive, and it looks like Grillo's going to jump in here, and so we're going to win that. Corki did 8,000 damage. Heimer did 10,000 damage. Not bad. I'm just continuing to grab extra Heimers. And, oh, okay, we hit 2-star Rumble. Once again, I hit the 2-star Rumble before the 2-star Alawi. I've only seen one Alawi the whole game. And you might say I have a pair of them, but one of them came over from Grillo. So just taking my time here. And if I can hit the Alawi, then I might as well save up and start going to level 10. That is, if the game goes this long. It doesn't look like the game's going to last that long because this other team only has 8 HP remaining. And I think I'm on like a 10-match win streak or something like that. A 12-match win streak. Okay. Now I wouldn't mind getting better items on the Rumble. He just has a Thief's Glove, but I mean, he's a 2-star Rumble with Sentinel, what is it, Sentinel 6 on the board. I guess this is why I'm having trouble finding Alawi. This person's also playing Alawi on their Rebel board. But like, yeah, that Rumble, he's pretty strong. I haven't even gotten to use his Self-Destruct very much. I think he's only died in 1 fight since I got that. But look at him just putting the flamethrower down over and over and over again. He just keeps roasting the enemy team. And all right, we still got Corki alive, still have Heimerdinger alive. Boom, there we go. That team's down to 1 HP. So now we only need to win one more round to end the game. So I might as well just roll for the Alawi 2-star as opposed to trying to get to level 10. Doesn't seem too likely I'm going to hit level 10 at this point. I did have the thought of trying to get better items on Rumble, though, because I would not mind just, you know, I could just take those items off Loris and put them on Rumble, but Rumble is not actually that great of a tank. He's not a bad tank, but he's really more of like a tank/damage dealer, whereas Loris is purely a tank. Loris doesn't do any damage at all. Loris just stands there and tanks. So Loris is not really a bad person to have like my strongest tank items are for that reason. Also, maybe could have tried to go for Loris 3. I have seen a decent number of Lorises in this game, but anyway, can we hit one more Alawi? It's really kind of like the only unit I'm still looking for here. One more Alawi? There's another Loris. All right, there we go. That works. And now I probably could just go to level 10. I guess I just continued roll because I did get up to 6 Heimers. Like, I'm not that far off of like a Heimer 3. So, oh, there's another Heimer. Okay. And now here I wanted another frontline item. I didn't really see it. So what I was going to do is I was going to swap these items over to Alawi. But unfortunately, I took the items off the wrong unit. Like I wanted to put the items that are on Alawi onto Rumble, and then put the Thief's Glove on Alawi, but I kind of messed that up. I accidentally popped the items off Loris instead. So I just ended up putting them all back where they were before. Also, Rumble rolling Crown Guard Death Cap means he hits super duper hard this round. Like, it's not even close. He just annihilates people when he hits them. So, like, that Warwick goes down pretty fast. There is a 3-star, what is that, Nunu over there. So that unit's pretty tanky, but it's not really that close. I win the round. Grillo had already won his round, and that's that. GG. So we're going to win this lobby pretty easily. And honestly, my mid game was weak, but when the board came together at the end of the game, it actually did end up pretty strong. I don't think that this was the best opportunity, even to like the best spot even to play this, because I don't think my augments were that good for this setup. If you can get like Sentinel +1, then you can cut like one of these Sentinels and play like another better unit, which makes this board even stronger. So overall, I think this is pretty playable, and it's definitely something you can do if you have the right pieces for it. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed this one. Until next time, take care, folks. See you soon.